young Ronaldo, and a horrifying accident. The footballer was on his way to his dream in the Premier League, but unexpected tragedies, shocking moments. Here are the 5 most terrifying stories in the world of football. Let's dive in. December 16, 2023, during the 17th round of the English Premier League, Bournemouth hosted Luton Town. It was an ordinary match until the 59th minute. Suddenly, one of Luton's players collapsed face down on the pitch. The broadcast immediately cut away, understanding the gravity of the situation. Viewers were left in the dark, but news soon spread. Luton's captain, Tom Lockyer, had lost consciousness on the field and wasn't waking up. Medical staff raced to his side, performing emergency measures right there on the pitch. The referee stopped the game in the 65th minute, escorting the players off to allow medical teams to work uninterrupted. Eventually, Lockyer was stretchered off, and the crowd, silent with anxiety, gave him a round of applause. After 20 minutes of silence, a flicker of hope. Lockyer regained consciousness. But the truth would later reveal itself. Just days after his 29th birthday, Tom Lockyer suffered a cardiac arrest. For 2 minutes and 40 seconds, Lockyer's heart had stopped. Only immediate medical intervention brought him back, but tragically, this wasn't his first close call. 7 months earlier, Lockyer had collapsed in a championship game, again with no apparent trigger due to an atrial fibrillation diagnosis, a condition that could suddenly affect his heartbeat. He had undergone surgery in June, but as we now know, it wasn't enough. 5 days after the incident, a defibrillator was implanted under Lockyer's skin, and he shared a glimpse of his recovery. Since December 2023, Tom has remained off the field, focusing on healing. Some may have thought he'd decide to retire, but the Welsh defender had other plans. After consulting with doctors, he received approval to resume training in August 2024, with a potential return to the pitch in 2025. We can only hope that this time he'll be safe. January 8, 2009, around 10 a.m. local time, young Cristiano Ronaldo hopped into his brand new red Ferrari, heading to Manchester United's training ground. As he approached the airport, Ronaldo entered an underground tunnel, but then he lost control of the car and crashed into a barrier. His Ferrari was severely damaged. One of the wheels flew 7 meters from the car. Miraculously, Ronaldo himself escaped without any injuries. Witnesses saw him step out of the car on his own, calmly leaving the accident site. Goalkeeper Edwin van der Sar, who happened to be driving his Bentley the same way, gave Ronaldo a lift to the training ground. Since no other cars were involved, the police quickly identified that the vehicle belonged to United's rising star, making their way to the club's base to confirm everything. At that point, Ronaldo was already back training with his teammates. He passed the police's medical checks, which confirmed he had no alcohol or other substances in his system. A few days later, Ronaldo gave an official statement, and by July the case was closed without further consequence, as no one else had been affected. The accident could have sparked a huge media stir, but just a month before, Cristiano had won his first Ballon d'Or, marking him as the best player in the world. To protect his rising career, the press chose to let the incident pass quietly, avoiding unwanted attention. A week after the investigation, Ronaldo officially transferred to Real Madrid, where he committed to staying focused and avoiding similar road risks. Since then, he has been known for his vigilance and discipline, both on and off the field. Interestingly, Ronaldo's United teammate Fabio da Silva later revealed that this was Cristiano's first time driving the new Ferrari. If you're curious about what happened to the car, it went up for auction in 2012 for $50,000. Remarkably, the Ferrari had only 2,000 miles on it when it was listed. Ronaldo had bought it for €250,000, so the car's journey from luxury purchase to damaged auction item became another piece of football lore. In 2006, the match between Reading and Chelsea had just begun when, at the 17th second, Reading's Stephen Hunt chased a long pass. Chelsea's goalkeeper, 24-year-old Petr Cech, came out to intercept, but Hunt couldn't stop in time, colliding knee-first with Cech's head. The collision was immediately concerning. Cech lay motionless, face down on the grass, as Chelsea's medical team rushed to assist. Soon, the referee signaled for Cech to leave the field independently, leading to a harrowing scene as Cech, dazed and helpless, crawled off on all fours before collapsing again. Eventually, he was stretchered off after 4 minutes, struggling to speak coherently, a fact later recounted by Chelsea's head doctor, Brian English. Although a specialized medical team was on standby at the stadium, delays meant another ambulance was called, arriving 27 minutes later. Cech was taken to the Royal Berkshire Hospital, where a scan revealed a depressed skull fracture, with bone fragments pressing 5mm toward his brain, a life-threatening injury that could have led to severe brain damage or death. Petr Cech himself recalls how he felt while in the hospital.
Honest thing is that I kept losing memory. So basically, I woke up, everybody explained to me what happened. In 15 minutes, I couldn't keep up anymore, so I fell asleep again, woke up, couldn't remember anything. And that's the part I remember, this is the first time, just before my memory came back, I remember being like, it's even an absurd, if it's something you've never lived there and you never experienced, you would never really feel that. But imagine you are on the bed in the hospital, and the doctor keeps coming and asks you your name, people around, the day, the month, the year, which country you are, and it's something is the easiest question. All your life, you knew the answer. And suddenly he asks you and you go, like the simplest question. And you couldn't answer. I couldn't answer. I didn't know. I just couldn't recall anything.
Cech's recovery was grueling, haunted by severe headaches and physical limitations. But after 91 days, he returned to the field, donning his now iconic protective helmet. Initially, the helmet impaired his hearing and comfort, but doctors insisted he wear it at all times, even in training, due to his skull's heightened vulnerability. Over time, the helmet became a symbol of his perseverance and resilience, marking him as a unique presence on the field. Cech remained with Chelsea for 11 years, cementing his legacy in the Premier League before joining Arsenal in 2015, where he played until his retirement in 2019. In May 2023, he was inducted into the Premier League Hall of Fame as only the second goalkeeper to receive the honor. Incidentally, in that ill-fated match against Reading, the goalkeeper who replaced Cech was also carried off the field on a stretcher. Carlo Cudicini took a blow to the head, lost consciousness, and had to be substituted by defender John Terry as goalkeeper. By the way, Chelsea still managed to win that match. On October 28, 2018, a tragedy struck Leicester City as the helicopter of the club's owner, Thai billionaire Vichai Srivadhanaprabha, crashed shortly after takeoff.
The BBC has been told the owner of Leicester City Football Club was on board the helicopter that crashed and burst into flames just minutes after taking off from the King Power Stadium last night.
5 people, including Srivadhanaprabha, lost their lives as the helicopter came down in the stadium's parking lot. The Mirror quotes an eyewitness. It barely cleared the stand before spiraling down. Sky Sports reported that Srivadhanaprabha's daughter and 2 pilots were also on board. Local resident Leo Bruca recalled, "The helicopter was spinning rapidly, crashing near the stadium grounds. A police officer ran to break the glass of the helicopter while another followed with a fire extinguisher. Then, I saw a woman crying out. She had been just 20 meters away from the crash. Flames and then an explosion followed. The police responded immediately. It all happened in under a minute." Paramedics left the scene without using sirens as there were no survivors. According to The Guardian, an engine failure may have sparked a fire before the helicopter even hit the ground. The 2-year-old Augusta Westland AW169 was valued at around £2 million and could carry up to 6 passengers and 2 crew members. Reports indicated issues with the tail rotor as it managed to climb only about 200 feet before crashing. English media released a map of the crash site near the King Power Stadium. By morning, Sky Sports footage showed the helicopter completely destroyed by fire. Following the tragedy, Leicester players shared prayer emojis on social media. Former players like Andy King and Riyad Mahrez joined in, while Leicester defender Harry Maguire called for rumor spreaders to be banned from Twitter. Gary Lineker, a former Leicester player from 1978 to 1985, continued with the traditional match of the day broadcast despite knowing about the tragedy. "This was the hardest show I've ever hosted. My heart goes out to Leicester City. A terrible tragedy." Goalkeeper Kasper Schmeichel wrote a heartfelt letter to Srivadhanaprabha, noting, "Your impact wasn't only on the club, but also on the whole city. Your contributions to Leicester's hospitals and charities will not be forgotten. You changed football forever. You gave hope to everyone that the impossible was possible, not just to our fans, but to fans all over the world in any sport. Not many people have done that. When you signed me back in 2011, you said to me, we would be in the Champions League within 6 years, and we would do great things. You inspired me and I believed in you. You made me feel like nothing was impossible. Without you and your family, all this, everything we did together, everything we achieved would never have happened. You gave me experiences that only happen in fantasy. You literally made my dreams come true. You will never know how much you meant to me and my family. I am truly honored and privileged to have been a small part of your life. The pilots, Eric Swaffer and his partner and co-pilot Isabella Lakowicz, heroically aimed the descending helicopter away from crowded areas to minimize casualties. Vichai Srivadhanaprabha purchased Leicester City for £38 million, leading the club to its first Premier League title in history. Argentine forward Emiliano Sala had an outstanding season with the French club Nantes in 2018-2019. As the winter transfer window opened, he attracted the interest of the English Premier League club Cardiff City. After roughly 2 weeks of negotiations, Cardiff officially announced on January 20th, 2019 that they had signed Sala for €20 million, the largest transfer fee in the club's history. Sala briefly visited Cardiff to complete formalities and take photos at the club's training ground before returning to France to bid farewell to friends and family. On January 23rd at around 7 p.m. local time, Sala boarded a flight from France to the UK to finalize the transfer and undergo a medical examination. Tragically, the small aircraft carrying only Sala and the pilot disappeared from radar over the English Channel at around 8 p.m. An immediate search began but was suspended overnight due to darkness. Devastatingly, it emerged that before the crash, Sala had sent a voice message to his friends expressing concern about the safety of the plane.
Estoy acá arriba del avión que parece que se está por caer a pedazos y me estoy yendo para Cardiff, loco, que mañana así ya arrancamos. A la tarde arrancamos a entrenar, muchachos, con el nuevo equipo, a ver qué pasa. Así que, ¿cómo andan ustedes, hermanito? ¿Todo bien? Si en 1 hora y media no tiene novedades mías, no sé si van a mandar a alguien a buscarme porque no me van a encontrar, pero ya saben. Papá, qué miedo que tengo.
2 days later, search crews located parts of the aircraft near the crash site, but no further evidence surfaced. Teammates from Nantes played matches wearing jerseys with Sala's name, while his family posted photos of his dog waiting for his return. On February 3rd, 2 weeks later, British rescue teams found a body in the wreckage, later confirmed as Sala's, and on February 8, 2019, the 28-year-old forward was officially declared deceased. The body of the pilot, David Ibbotson, was never recovered. Years later, investigators suggested that both could have been unconscious due to carbon monoxide poisoning before the crash. Further investigation revealed that the flight was unauthorized for commercial purposes, and the pilot was unqualified for night flights due to color blindness. Another pilot had initially been assigned to the flight but had asked Ibbotson to replace him. In 2021, that original pilot was sentenced to 2 years in prison for arranging the unlawful flight that led to 2 deaths. This tragedy claimed not only Sala's life, but also, 3 months later, that of his father, who passed away from a heart attack. Legal proceedings between Nantes and Cardiff City are still ongoing, with Cardiff obliged to pay the full transfer fee as the deal was confirmed before Sala's departure. There are still many more terrifying moments in football history that couldn't fit into this episode. If you enjoy these kinds of stories, give this video a like. Once we reach 500, a new episode will be on the channel. Each of these moments has left a mark on the football world and in the hearts of millions. Which one impacted you the most? Let us know in the comments.